Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Number to call if you'd like to join the conversation talking about origins or talking about Obamacare. Either one, we'll take those calls in this next segment. Bottom of the hour, Ken Ham talking about his debate with Bill Nye, the science guy, last night. So looking forward to that. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And I want to play this soundbite from Nancy Pelosi. Remember the information we just went over you. The numbers on the CBO, from the CBO, 2.5 million people are going to lose their jobs. The hours are going to be cut back. The equivalent is going to be 2.5 million jobs gone because of Obamacare by 2024. Here's what Nancy Pelosi said back in the day when they were pushing Obamacare on all of us.
Bill is not only about the health security of America, it's about jobs. In its life, it will create 4 million jobs, 400,000 jobs almost immediately. Jobs, again, in the healthcare industry, but in the entrepreneurial world as well.
So Nancy Pelosi, 4 million jobs. It's going to be a job creator like you've never seen. We're going to have jobs coming out our noses when Obamacare goes into effect. Instead, CBO, 2.5 million down the drain by 2024. So Peter Alexander, this is clip 3 from NBC News, asking Jason Furman about this. And, Jason Furman playing up this idea, hey, you can only work 29 hours a week and you can get subsidized health care. We'll basically buy your health care for you. And Peter Alexander, NBC, saying, I'm wondering how good that is for the economy and for individual Americans. Here's their exchange.
Doesn't, Jason, that incentivize some people to do less? Then all of a sudden there's an incentive to do less because if your salary's less, you're still getting government subsidies that then benefit.
First of all, for many people, there's potentially an incentive to do more. There's an incentive for more entrepreneurship because you're not locked into a job. There's an incentive for employers to be able to hire more people because the cost of health care is lower. There's an incentive to hire workers who are going to be absentee less. So I think there's a whole bunch of puts and takes here.
So again, that's the spin the White House is putting on this. This would be wonderful. Somebody gets their hours cut back to 29 hours a week and they've still got their health care. Hey, maybe they'll want to go out and start a new business. Maybe employers will want to hire more people because they don't have to offer insurance to them. So, but NBC News is onto this deal. Look, you are incentivizing people to do less. You offer them health care benefits at 29 and a half hours a week, then you're incentivizing them to work less and not maximize their potential in their job and in their careers. Now, this is Alex Simoninger again, clip 4. She's with Real Clear Politics, and she's talking about this 2.5 million people who are going to be out of work as a result of Obamacare, and she's asking Furman about the impact of that on the economy.
Am I understanding what you're saying correctly, that the change in incentives for people is not a net drag on economic growth?
I'm saying
2.5 million people change their choice about working. Right. That is not a net drag on economic growth.
Right. First of all, I haven't accepted that number. There's a lot of factors that go into that number, not all of them in uncertainty. And second of all, I'm saying that whole analysis refutes the claim that this is about employers cutting back on jobs and increasing unemployment, and that has been a central argument against the Affordable Care Act. Instead, it's this analysis itself, which isn't a complete analysis, but this analysis itself is about the choices that people make and the new options that they have.
But you didn't answer my question.
I could repeat that again, if that would help.
So she says twice, look, the question I asked you, if 2.5 million people are out of the workforce, out of the labor force, isn't that going to represent a drag on the economy? That's 2.5 million people that are not contributing time, not contributing energy, not contributing their abilities, not contributing their labor to building products and providing services and expanding the economy. Isn't that going to be a net drag on the economy? And all he can talk about is the wonderful choices now that are opened up to people who've lost their jobs and can't work more than 29 and a half hour weeks, and all of the wonderful opportunities this opens up for them. A number to call if you want to join the program, 888-589-8840 is the number to call. Now, Steve Hayes talking with Shannon Bream of Fox News. This is clip 5, again, on this whole job loss situation. And Shannon Bream is asking about this. You know, this is the president's signature legislative achievement, she says, and they're going to talk about this in the most positive terms possible. But then she says, look, Shannon Bream says, look, people are asking this question, what is up with this pattern of denial about things that have happened that are negative? It's like these people are refusing to face reality. You know, you got all we hear about, all the stuff, Fast and Furious, Benghazi, impact of Obamacare on the economy. All we're hearing is it's either not a big deal or it is a positive deal. Here's what Steve Hayes had to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a positive deal. I mean, I think Julie accurately described the way that the White House has been forced to spin these numbers. The problem is the spin just doesn't work. I mean, either we are going to have 2.5, pick your number, 2.5 million fewer people or full-time equivalent in 10 years, or you're going to have people working the equivalent amount, fewer hours. That's not good for the economy. It's not good in any possible way. And while I was watching this exchange, I kept thinking of poor Nancy Pelosi. Remember, Nancy Pelosi made this prediction years ago, months ago. Think of an economy where people could be an artist or a photographer or a writer without worrying about keeping their day job in order to have health insurance. She was mocked for saying that. And it's true. Now, this is the argument that the White House is actually getting behind and embracing. The problem with the White House's choice spin is that while it's true that some people may choose to work less and be able to get health insurance anyway, so many Americans aren't choosing to subsidize people working less. And for those people, they don't have a choice.
Now, Steve Hayes' point there is, look, yeah, maybe some people will choose to work less and get the subsidized insurance, but then everybody else in America is paying for that. They're forced to pay for that through their taxes, and that's not a choice that they get to make. So the guy might choose to be a photographer or be a painter and hang out in his loft in his pajamas all day, getting his subsidized insurance. But Steve Hayes has said, look, what that means is you got millions and millions and millions of Americans out there that are working hard. They're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week to pay for their own insurance, and now they have to pay insurance for these slackers that want to sit around and paint all day in their loft, and they don't have a choice. It's either cough up that money or get fined or go to jail, one or the other. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Mike in Dillon, South Carolina. Mike, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian. I appreciate listening to you in AFR. Tried to get through a couple times the past couple days and couldn't do it, but of course, your topic today is Obamacare, which I'm totally against. But I just had a comment on something you mentioned Monday, I think, with the commercials on the Super Bowl, and you mentioned General Mills, well, actually Cheerios commercial. You liked it. I didn't know if you were aware. I totally, as a personal boycott, Cheerios, any product made by General Mills, I don't buy because of their pro stance on homosexual marriage. I think when Minnesota, their home office in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing, I actually liked their Cheerios commercial in the Super Bowl. I'm not talking about the corporation, because I know the corporation supports a homosexual agenda like you're talking about.
Right.
But the thing that struck me about that commercial in the Super Bowl is they actually used the word family, and then they used the word dad and mom and children. Right. In other words, what Cheerios said in that commercial, a family is a mother and a father and the children that they conceived together out of their married love. So I thought that was, you know, maybe it was accidental. Maybe they didn't even realize the message they were sending. But that's the definition of a family that we subscribe to. And there's Cheerios saying this is what a family is.
Well, maybe they've got a lot of blowback from their stance in the past. I think this happened 2 years ago when they were really pushing for the amendment.
Well, you know, and it could be because they were big time pushing for that marriage amendment, that redefinition amendment there in Michigan. So,
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they heard from the American people and decided we'll do something a little family friendlier this time around. You know, and you know, we had our devotions this morning as a staff, and Monica Cole, who heads up the 1 Million Moms Ministry here, it's a division of AFA. You know, she monitors the Super Bowl commercials every year, and frequently she's weighed in on the content and the quality of the commercials, and she said, there's been a notable improvement. Things aren't perfect, a long way from that, but the caliber, the lack of offensive contact. There's less offensive content in Super Bowl ads this year than there have been in recent years. So it may be that they're starting to wake up and listen to the people that they want to buy their products, and maybe they're just being smart and saying, hey, there's no point in offending the people that we're counting on to buy our stuff. So I don't know. We'll see if it represents some kind of change of heart, Mike. We can always hope that's the case.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 888-589-8840, number to call. And the Congressional Budget Office Director back to Obamacare just for a second, Douglas Elmendorf, he testified this morning and he said quite directly that Obamacare creates, quote, a disincentive for people to work. Fewer people are going to be joining the middle class because this act is creating a disincentive for them to work. And he makes the point that if you expand the welfare state, in other words, you get more goodies for not working, more stuff is handed to you and you don't have to work for it, then your incentive to work declines. You have less incentive to work because you're getting stuff without having to put any energy out. And that means you're shrinking the economy. So if you grow the government, you shrink the economy. There's no other way to put it. You grow the government, you shrink the economy. You expand welfare, you shrink the economy. You expand welfare, you disincentivize people to go to work. And that's a perverse thing. It robs people of initiative and self-reliance. Then on the Obamacare front, we got the story out of Virginia. A Virginia man and woman claimed that personal information they submitted to the Obamacare website has been compromised and poses security threats to them. Rich Guillory's the guy's name, signed up for health insurance through the Obamacare website. The next day, he started getting calls from people that he didn't know, who wouldn't even identify themselves on the phone. They kept pestering him and calling him day and night to try to offer him help to find and purchase health insurance. He had no idea how these people found out his name, found out his number. Obviously, the information posted on the website had been compromised. And that, the Obamacare enrollees in California, they're finding that they have no doctors. That even though the website said your doctors are in our network, they show up at the doctor's offices. Nope, sorry, not in the network. Focal Point AFR Talk, back with Ken Ham. Stay with us.